Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining another KenCast today. It's wonderful to see you, and we've got a fun show for you today. So much to talk about. Joshua Jackson, known as Pacey from Dawson's Creek and other things, has joined the cast of the new Karate Kid movie. Is this a good thing, or does it spell doom? Also, we've got lots of news. Could Snake be making a return to Cobra Kai season 6? And what's going on with the remakes in general? And then we are also going to talk about the new trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. To have this wide ranging and incredibly entertaining discussion about all things movies and TV that we love, I am bringing in two of the greatest experts in the history of the internet about movies. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen them on KenCast before, but they headline their very entertaining and insightful, amazing podcast, the Last Row Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Drew and Badway. Hey
That's
guys,
some high praise, man. I feel very humbled.
What an intro. Jeez.
well, you guys deserve it. Now, okay, before we move on here, I think we need to, everyone watching right now has to understand the Last Row Podcast. If they haven't listened before, let's give a quick intro to the Last Row Podcast, and then later on we'll go into some of your recent episodes because they pertain directly to what we're talking about today. But how would you guys describe your podcast?
I guess it's the type of movies that you forgot you loved, we say sometimes, and also like infinitely rewatchable movies. So either cult classics or things that, are actually good. I don't know. Did I do it justice, Badway?
Yeah, good movies, bad movies, everything in between. Pretty much stuff from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Things that maybe you forgot about, or things that are, or oppositely, infinitely rewatchable. We kind of take a different spin on the movies, try to get into the real world of the movie, and just talk about pretty much everything but the plot. We try to get inside the world, but not actually. We don't do plot recaps. We kind of just try to get inside the world of the movie, pretty much.
It's a vehicle for us to ask silly questions like why were live grenades in the military academy of Child's Play 3, things like that. Silly questions of the world.
Well, one of the things, guys, I love about this podcast, and this might embarrass you, but this really points out how amazing and how prophetic your podcast is. Okay. You guys were the only people on the internet to do a deep dive on Terry Silver way before everyone else. We're talking 2015. No hint of Cobra Kai. You are the only podcast that dove deep on Terry Silver and Karate Kid 3. And I think that just is evidence of how ahead of the game you guys are. And if listeners listen to you, I think they have like a pulse on the sort of like nostalgic predictions of what might happen in the future. It required listening, I think.
It's I'm pretty sure we asked some silly questions, and I don't think our future came true, but maybe in an alternate dimension. In the world of multiverses these years, I'll say that our future prediction of what happened after Karate Kid 3 was maybe true in some multiverse, right, Badway?
Yeah, we just had to whisper his name into existence back then, because I feel like, if you don't say it enough, it goes away. I feel like we just whispered it, and then more people picked up on it, and then he became a thing again, and we're happy for it. So
I mean, we're doing maybe this wouldn't have existed if we didn't do that episode. I don't know, like, I mean, check out that ponytail. That's where it's at, right? So
I love that. I've got, well, mine's a little bit out of reach, but he's fighting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man over my shoulder. Terry Silver action figure. It's pretty amazing. Everyone, we got to say hello to everyone in the chat because you guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Jorge says, hi, everyone. Now off says, I can't wait for Karate Kid movies and Cobra Kai final season 6. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's going to be absolutely amazing. Hello, Ken and everyone. Hi, Talking Star Wars. It's great to see you. Terry Johnson asks, who is Joshua Jackson? Do we know before going into this who Joshua Jackson is?
He's been missing for like 10 years, hasn't he? Like, he hasn't done anything really. So I understand why you wouldn't know him unless you were, a fan of either Dawson's Creek or Mighty Ducks, right?
Yeah. I think, as Nerd World said in the chat, he is Charlie Conway to me. That's he might be Pacey to some, but to me, he will always be Charlie Conway.
Yep. Triple D.
Yes. That's such a good call about Mighty Ducks as well. Darkest Hour, great to see you. Dale, amazing to see you. And John, NASA Canes fans, thanks for being a channel member. Clifford, great to see you. Thanks for being a channel member. Love all these guys. Bumblebee says Charlie Conway is now learning karate after retiring from hockey.
That would be a crossover, man. That would be a heck of a crossover.
We're going to be talking crossovers today. I think there's so much crossover potential. Shin Batman says Pacey is learning kung fu to fight Dawson, who is now a protege of Terry Silver. Hey guys, I love it. Jaws, great. Hi, Joshua Jackson in Karate Mighty Ducks. Only Howard the Duck is missing to appear. Yes, Jaws. Thank you. James Chapman. Hey, Ken. My name is James Chapman. Oh, that's a fine name, James. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, James.
And then DJ Club Rules. Hey, Ken, we are a step closer to getting Cobra Kai season 6. I can feel it. Absolutely. And guys, we might speculate about that today. How are you guys feeling? Because obviously you have your fingers on the pulse. You're huge fans. What do you think of Cobra Kai season 6? Are you anticipating it? Are you thinking about it? Are you just being patient? What do you think, Drew and Badway?
Do you want to go first?
I mean, I'm just being patient, honestly. I've been less on the pulse over the past, I'd say since the year started. So I'm kind of in a wait and see mode. And honestly, I'm not even a Netflix subscriber right now. See, Karate Kid season 6 or Cobra Kai season 6 is a Netflix purchaser for me. You want to get butts in the seats, you pump out more Cobra Kai seasons. I'm definitely signing up.
That's a good way to put
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think.
How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I think our conversations are probably the most that I'm in it. Like it's weird. I think I have this way that I operate sometimes where it's like I almost don't want to know. Like I want to know, but I don't. And I know there's leaks out there and obviously people posting stuff from the set, and I try to follow it because I'm excited about it. But at the same time, there's something awesome about kind of going in a little bit blind. But as a fan, it's hard not to try to take advantage of what's out there and see stuff. It's weird if you think back like 20 years ago, before the social media that we know, you'd see a trailer and that's kind of all you knew. Or maybe you'd pick up Entertainment Weekly at the grocery store or something, right? And see the new bat suit. Like I remember being a kid watching Batman Forever. It's like you're standing in the checkout aisle with your parents and then you see the magazine about Val Kilmer playing Batman. You page through it. That was how you could see stuff. There wasn't really leaks in the way that we have them now. So I don't know. Sometimes I guess I get nostalgic about that as an old man now. So
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and yeah, it's that thing of nostalgia, really. That's driving, I think, a lot of the conversations we have on this stream, and all that great stuff from the past that we're wanting to spread to audiences today. Okay, guys, I think it's time for us to just get into this discussion. We have a lot to talk about today.
KenCast discussion.
All right, here we go. All right, guys. Mary Page Keller, you know her. She is the wife of Thomas Ian Griffith, who plays Terry Silver, and it is her birthday today. So we're going to wish her a happy birthday. Drew and Badway, do you guys have any birthday thoughts for Mary Page Keller?
Happy birthday. It's a good day,
happy
right?
birthday to her. The gift that keeps on giving. Every day she gets to wake up next to Thomas Ian Griffith. That's a gift itself.
It's awesome.
Now, she is also, like her husband, she is a very talented actress and writer. She's done and singer. She's done all kinds of things. I do want to point out to the audience who might not know that she starred in a sitcom called Camp Wilder with Hilary Swank, the next Karate Kid, and who played Julie Pierce. Julie Pierce might appear in Cobra Kai season 6. So I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, there are all these weird direct connections among these cast members. Do you guys have any premonitions or feelings about that?
I've never seen that show. That I don't know. Have you seen that, Badway? I've never even heard of the show, or maybe I have and I've never seen it. It's interesting. The picture is making me look like it's familiar.
Not to be mean, but the synopsis of it sounds like a canceled TGIF sitcom. That's exactly
it was only one season, right? Yeah. It was only on one season. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see Hillary. I saw Ken, you did the discussion earlier about her saying that, well, she doesn't think she's in it or something like that. And obviously she couldn't answer it anyway, I don't think. But
right.
It would be interesting to have her back. I mean, we have exposure to Julie Pierce now after doing our next Karate Kid conversation.
I feel like I'm going to go out on a limb and just predict it. It's going to happen. If not only for one scene or just the surprise appearance. I'm not saying she's going to be integral to the plot or be in the entire season, but I feel like they're going to get her, and she's game for it for just at least one scene, just because she's in there with the whole Miyagi timeline. Let's just get her in there.
Yeah, like if this is the last hurrah of what we get here, it would be fitting for her to be in it, even for just one episode.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you guys, and I might even push that further. I think she might be in it more than one episode.
Ooh.
I think actresses of her stature, you know, who have won 2 Academy Awards, right? They don't get the opportunity. Like, imagine if John, Josh, and Hayden went to her and said, guess what? We'd love to have you on. You're an amazing actress. You're going to add so much to the show. On top of that, you are going to kick a lot of ass. Like you're going to be a kick-ass character. I mean, I don't think she probably gets offered those characters because she's, you know, a serious actress.
Right,
I wonder if she would jump at that.
It would be cool. And Julie Pierce as a character was, I'm having not watched that movie growing up. When we watched it together, I was like, hey, this is a lot better than I would have expected it was. I actually really enjoyed the movie personally.
Yeah. And I think maybe it'd be more of a redemption because the movie gets panned here and there a little bit, but she's grown as an actress surely since that role. I mean, we talked about it when we had our review of it, and also the lines written for her will certainly be better than they were for Karate Kid 4. Or next Karate, however you want to say it, but yeah. So I feel like she would have more fun, and maybe it's a redemption for the character. You know, if the character is going to be remembered in the lore of Karate Kid, maybe this is a better send off.
It's a good opportunity. It's a good point.
If she cares. I would hope she cares. She probably doesn't care.
Well, if you watch that interview, she very proudly says, I am the next Karate Kid. She owns that. So I think that's a good sign.
I think it was I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I think it was important at the time, just being a leading girl in that role of ass kicker, doing karate, picking up where LaRusso left off, that kind of thing. So, I mean, at the time, what was it, 94, I believe? Was it? Yeah, I believe it was kind of necessary and powerful for her to be in that role. So, of course, she should be proud of it.
Yeah, and I think the difference between her and where Daniel picked up was, I think we talked about this as well, where Daniel came in, like, he didn't really know anything. Like, she clearly had a background, and she was already kind of kicking ass, like you said, Ken. It was just a different problems she was dealing with. She was sort of getting bullied by the Alpha Elite and Ned, and just wants to hang out with her hawk on the roof and dealing with her, parental issues and stuff like that. It's just a different place than Daniel. Like, she already kind of knew how to kick some ass. It just wasn't in the degree of maybe like focused or disciplined. So that was also pretty different about her.
Indeed. And Nerd World says Mary Page Keller trying to convince Hillary to come back to Cobra Kai season 6, which is great. DrewTube says, is Hillary the werewolf? Hey, great to see you, DrewTube. Jaws says many connections, Ken.
Yes.
Mary Page Keller worked with Hillary Swank, Yuji Okamoto, Tamlin Tomita. Nerd World said Hillary doing the Andrew Garfield.
I have to add something about Jaws there. So what Jaws said, underrated movie, and I don't know if you guys know which one I'm going to say here. So Mary Page Keller was in Johnny Tsunami in 1999, and she played the wife of Pete, played by Yuji. So that Pete was the dad, which is like, I watched that movie a million times on Disney Channel growing up. I love that movie.
Something weird is going on in this universe. I feel like there are too many connections. You're right. It's the 6 Degrees of Thomasine Griffith.
Yeah. Shang Tsung was the grandfather, which was the best. Like, he's amazing. Carrie, I'm going to say his name wrong, but Tagawa, he's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. We've got a super chat. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John, for the $10 super chat. Was bail granted to Mr. Silver?
Better be.
Well, gosh, I don't know if I can answer that for you. All I can say is we are on proudly trying to save Silver right now. And
we're not even I'm sorry, we're not even sure that he made it to the police station. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
He might have made a deal before he even got there. So, man, I'm assuming he's free.
He shouldn't have even had to go there, as we've already talked about. I mean, this is just wrongful prosecution of somebody that did nothing. His dojo was broken into. That was breaking and entering by all those children.
A victim.
They should be in juvenile whatever. They should be in military school with Chucky over there because of the stuff that they did.
Those Eagle Fang thugs.
Yeah, they are thugs.
That would be a crossover. And guys, anyone watching who's not familiar with the Last Word podcast, you should go follow. But on top of that, Badway, we're honored to have him here today because he is the legal expert of the Last Word podcast. So he's an authority to talk about whether Terry Silver should be in jail or not.
Yeah. You know, my forthcoming law degree. You know, it's coming. So you know, in that it's pending. I would say I'm the most qualified of us three to talk about our legal, discourses. So if we get into season 6, episode 1, and Terry's in some legal trouble, guys, just please call on me, and I will clear everything up for you guys.
I think the legal dream team is Badway and Cobra Kai Wisdom, Mike. We need to see those two, you know, battling it out, like helping out Terry.
Well, DrewTube asked, just joined, did I miss the discussion on Joshua Jackson? No, not at all. That's still coming. So stay tuned. Guys, we've been talking about Cobra Kai season 6, and you guys are experts on Karate Kid 3. So I need to bounce this off of you. We've talked with William Christopher Ford on this live stream before, who played Dennis in Karate Kid 3. And we've asked him about Jonathan Alvinson, who played Snake. And he's previously said that Jonathan Alvinson has been kind of off the grid for years. Like no one has seen him. No one's talked to him. However, I want to show you this. Mr. Tim, who has his own YouTube channel, obviously a Twitter account, he made this. He tweeted at Jonathan Alvinson. This is back in September of 2021. And just a few days ago, Jonathan Alvinson replied with like the thank you, like hands emoji. This is like the first time anyone's heard from Jonathan Alvinson. And
awesome. Does
this mean anything, guys? Like, does this mean that he's on the grid? Like, will he be in Cobra Kai season 6? Could Snake be coming back? Or is this an off the grid type move that you could anonymously post from anywhere and you're going to stay off the grid?
It means he's alive, first of all. So that's one.
That's good.
But two, I mean, it's very far reaching. If we're pulling an emoji tweet to see if he has any kind of dealings in season 6, I'm gonna vote no. I mean, I would take him absolutely, but I'm still skeptical.
What if now? Let me play devil's advocate here, Badway.
Please.
What if he had to get the social medias back because now he's got to kind of know what's going on and he's got to get the pulse of things because he's been off the grid for a while. So he's going to leave a little sneak in there. It's just, I don't know. I mean, we have to get Sensei Ford on the horn here, Ken. We got to see if he's resurfaced.
I agree.
If the emoji was a snake, maybe I'd be more inclined to believe that he's teasing us and like something's going to happen. But I don't know. Maybe it just seems genuine praise and genuine gratitude. I don't know.
I'll say if nothing else, it's cool that one, he saw this, and two, if assuming it was him, right? And it's not like we're in Philadelphia, so people are always talking about AJ Brown's burner account. Like, I don't know if it's one of those things, but it could be that. I don't know. I like to think that it's actually Jonathan Alvinson, but I think you nailed it though. If it was actually like a snake, then we'd really be cooking.
Yeah.
I'm just
cool to see.
You know, we had talked about in previous weeks how Chad McQueen, this is kind of exciting, had like deleted that post basically where his daughter posted and said Chad McQueen will not be appearing in Cobra Kai season 6. He made that post years ago and it has been deleted. So that account, whoever posted that, went to the trouble of going back through years of posts to delete that. Does that mean anything? I don't know. But what does this say to you when someone on X or Twitter just years later replies to like a certain tweet? What does that mean? Does that mean anything?
I wonder if like they logged in. Well, so let's say I'm putting myself in his shoes, right? So let's say he hasn't, I think the last tweet he made was like 2020 as I looked at it before the show or something like that. Last reply, last tweet. I think that, it shows that he's at least looking at his replies. He's trying to like at least check in on the account, and maybe he just happened to see that. And if he doesn't have that huge of a career in terms of like a lot of acting, experience, this was a big role for him. maybe he's checking in and at least he's appreciating what people are posting. He didn't have to write anything, right? He could have just ghosted and just kind of hung out behind the scenes. The fact that he acknowledged Mr. Tim, I mean, that's pretty cool. And I don't know. At least he's like paying attention, maybe.
I'm looking at his IMDb. His last action was in 2002. So I think it's fair to say that his acting career is on hold at the very least. So you ever Google yourself, guys? Or you ever look at, maybe type your name into the Twitter search thing? This could have been what happened here. Him just taking a look and seeing, maybe he's watching the season of Cobra Kai and seeing, is anybody talking about me? Anybody talking about Snake? It's a bite, and he's genuinely grateful that someone's talking about him. And I feel that might be all that what this is. And I would do the same if I was, if I had a past career and I wanted to see, the people still remember me. Somebody does. Excellent. And I don't blame him one bit.
I think it's cool that he acknowledged it. And
yeah,
what it means to me is, like you said, he's still around. And maybe there's some still hope to get some Snake and Dennis action in season 6. And I don't know. I would be, everybody wants to see Julie Pierce. That's cool. But I want to see Snake and Dennis back together. I think they both deserve to be on it, and it would be awesome.
Yeah. If Silver comes out of prison and he's flanked by Snake and Dennis,
could you imagine?
Of course, I'm going to jump off the couch. I'm going to jump off the couch. Don't get me wrong, as if I don't want to see this. I'm just trying to be realistic.
I would be doing a backflip, dude. It would be unreal to see that. Like the fact that we have a Terry Silver action figure is crazy to me, but the fact that we could possibly see Snake and Dennis with Terry Silver on the screen, 30 plus years later, incredible. I'm gonna hold out hope that we get it.
That would be a dream come true. And honestly, I know we've been kind of in the past ranking the probabilities of like these characters coming back. And I know Julie Pierce is pretty high. Like everyone kind of thinks that she's pretty high. But then you get down to like, say, Colonel Dugan. Do you think it's more likely that we'll see Colonel Dugan in season 6? Or do you think it's more likely we could see Dennis and Snake in season 6?
I would probably say Dugan because Ironside's actively acting right now. I mean, I think Sensei Ford would do it based on I hope he would, right? But I think it's more, can you bring in Dennis without Snake or Snake without Dennis? Like, is it a duo? Right. I don't know. Yeah. Whereas like Ironside, the connection is there. So, and he's more prominent of a character within the universe versus more of like a henchman. So I don't know.
Yeah. And the fact that he hasn't acted since 2002, we're talking about Snake. Maybe he just doesn't want to, Maybe that's like part of his past. Acting is part of his past, and he's just past it. But Colonel Dugan, the actor himself is a great actor, and he's working and he's doing great things. But like, as far as like in the show, like in the movie, like career trajectory, Colonel Dugan, I can't see a way that he's still alive. Like after the beating he took and the dismantling of his crew, there's no way that man isn't dead or in jail. So
by that blown out like docks in the fire, and that was like a fight to the death with high school.
There's
students.
No way. That was a blow to his career, to his ego. There was no way that man picked himself up off the ground after the beating he took.
Yeah, people thought Johnny went into like a spiral after losing like a tournament. No. This was like high stakes. Yeah. Like he could have died after Miyagi kicked his butt.
Yeah.
Hey, so on that note, if he managed to pick himself up, if he managed to keep going on in life, is there anyone Colonel Dugan would hate more than Mr. Miyagi?
That's true. And with Miyagi not around, I mean, hey, and then you definitely have to have. So I'll say this: you can't have Dugan without Pierce. Like you can't. So you got to have Pierce. Like to have Dugan, and then she's sort of the representative because Miyagi's not around anymore. He passed away. So does he know Daniel? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But that's how you would have to have Julie Pierce to have Dugan, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. If we see Julie Pierce in like episode 2, and it seems like she's going to be on for the rest of the series, then we're probably getting a Dugan sighting. I agree with that.
But we said it too, and I don't know if you guys agree with this. Like, how many people is too many people? Like, we already have to juggle like the new characters, the legacy characters, the legacy characters that they brought in. Like, if you expand to the next Karate Kid universe, that's 2 new sets of like sort of groups and people that you need to acknowledge now. Whereas if you brought in Snake and Dennis, they're at least still associated with Terry Silver. You might need to explain that to the audience who may have not seen Karate Kid 3, but at the same time, they're still associated with Terry Silver. So it's not like, oh, hey, wait, how does Colonel Dugan? Oh, yeah, he was that guy in the POW camp with them. Like, there's a connection, but it's also kind of stretching it into a bigger part of the universe when you have to deal with the Sekai Taikai. You've got to deal with Terry Silver, the fallout of that. There's a lot to be done. Unless these episodes are like at least an hour long, I don't know how they're going to handle all that.
Look how they juggled in and out Barnes, right? So
True.
there's always a possibility for a small but meaningful section of the series. It might amount to less than 20 minutes over, and it could span over 2 or 3 episodes. A scene here, a scene there that are integral to the story, but not necessarily chewing screen time. So there's always that.
Let me ask you guys this, because I'm genuinely curious. Would you rather see Julie Pierce and Dugan come back, or would you rather get more explanation of Mike Barnes? Because I know my answer. Because like Barnes was kind of barely in it, he was only in a few episodes. For me personally, I would rather get more of Mike Barnes because I feel like there's more to tell there that we haven't seen. But I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Well, I will say to your point, Drew, Talking Straight with Nate did draw the connection between the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, which is the painting Terry Silver had, and he was hanging up, which was stolen. So well known that it was stolen from the Gardner Museum in Boston. So Mike has that painting now. So there's a connection. I don't know if he's going to go return it. Maybe he'd get money. I don't know if he's going to sell it on the black market, but that is one way that Mike could somehow enter the Boston fray. So you might have both at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think, when you're expanding it, it's sort of like an Avengers movie where it's like you got to assemble all the people, and maybe that's how you bring in Pierce and stuff. But I hope that there's more Mike Barnes, because I think Sean did an awesome job, and I feel like there was more story to tell there, and I wish and I hope that we get it. I love the character, like I always did, and I wish we got more of it.
Yes. And we've got questions. Max Kelly saying, do you all think Snake and Dennis should break Silver out of jail? Well, I mean, not outside of the realm of possibility, but assuming he makes it to jail, right? But I mean, what do you guys think? There's a sense that Snake and Dennis should be there, right?
Yeah, maybe they're the ones that pick him up. I feel I don't need Terry to be a fugitive from justice. We don't need a breakout scenario. I feel I don't need to be worried in the back of my mind that the cops are out to get Terry Silver. I need him free and clear of all charges, and then maybe he calls on the 2 people he may be able to trust the most, and knowing how to deal with a bunch of kids in a karate tournament. So, and that was
I like that, deal with. Yeah.
That's on his to-do list. He's got to deal with that. I agree with you. I don't really want to be like, because Kreese broke out. Like, he is a fugitive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He's escaping from the law. Like, Terry doesn't need to escape from the law because he didn't do anything wrong. So I hope that they play that angle of like the kids and Daniel, they thought they got him. They thought they pulled one over on him, and it's like, hey, yeah, you might have humiliated me in this dojo, but oh, by the way, you broke and entered. You did this. You did all that. It would be awesome to see it get flipped right back around on him. Daniel loses his dealerships. Terry just it would be awesome if Terry just flipped the script all the way back. So that would be what I want to see, not him breaking out of jail.
I love that. Jorge adds, it would be cool if Snake would be one of the cops that takes Terry Silver away in the patrol car and never makes it to the police station. That's that level of manipulation, right?
Now we're talking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's like a Joker situation.
Oops, I read his Miranda rights wrong. You're free to go, sir. That's like the type of, that's the type of clerical error that gets a guilty man innocent real quick. So
gets off on a technicality.
Yeah.
Man, could you see someone like Snake? Could you see Snake in a cop uniform? Like, that is the most corrupt cop in the history of humanity.
Like, he still have the chain? He's got to have the chain, right?
Right. Exactly. Tig, Terry Silver rocks, who is an executive producer of this KenCast evening. Ken, Drew, Kevin, and all. Sorry if I go in and out. Having a few issues staying logged in. Good to see everyone. It is great to see you. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a champion on this channel and in real life. So
thank you.
And then we also have another super chat from John. a NASA Canes fan. What if Milos and Margaret's kids work for Silver and break him out? I mean, those are other characters that we don't know exactly what happened to them. Like, what's going on with Milos and Margaret? They were in deep with Terry Silver.
I would love that. Like, it's like it's extreme. Like you said before, by the way, the 6 degrees of Terry Silver or whatever it was. But man, I kind of like that. I don't know. Give me more of that. I need that.
Yes. And of course, Matt Moore. Thanks for being a channel member, Matt. We are all ready to save Silver. Okay, guys, let's talk about this main issue. We've had a lot of discussion, conflict about a certain casting choice. Actually, guys, I want to take a second to bring up the Last Row podcast, because these guys, Drew and Badway, have this incredible podcast. I want to take a second to show their website. So this is the Last Row podcast. The latest episode you guys did was Child's Play 3. Incredible episode. I've never seen the movie, and now I want to watch it based on this, because it was such a fun discussion on this. Can you but you do all kinds of things, and we're going to get to another topic you've talked about, but so what inspired Child's Play? Sometimes it seems kind of out of left field maybe to some people, but what is the importance of this series and this movie?
Oh, okay, it's my fault, and I apologize to everyone who doesn't care about Chucky and Child's Play, but it's my favorite horror villain, and it goes deep to where I was deathly afraid of Chucky growing up, as the movies were brand new, and like being scared to like see the previews or go to Blockbuster Video and accidentally catch a glimpse of the VHS cover, right? And to when I actually got to watch it when I was a little older, turned the fear into love. And my favorite horror franchise. Seen all of them, a dozen plus times. Drug Drew into it. Drew's not a big horror fan, but like kicking and screaming, I drug him into the series, and now he's starting to become a fan as well. So now we made it up to 3. We've done 1 and 2, I believe, in the past 6 months. So we're speeding through it, and we'll probably get into Bride of Chucky, hopefully in the summer sometime.
It's been a fun adventure, I'll say. Like, for those that don't know, Badway and I have known each other since like high school, basically, and we lived together for a really long time. And the only way I would watch horror movies, it's not that I'm scared of them, I just don't gravitate towards them. He would put them on, and I would sit there and watch with him when we, back when we lived together and stuff. And I remember just watching some of these movies and just having a good time with them. But when we did the podcast, he said, "Hey, why don't we do these movies?" We didn't do a lot of horror films at that time, and it's been a lot of fun. Like this movie in particular, I don't want to trick people. It's not a good movie, but it's like the kind of movie that we do on our show that I really enjoy, because it's just so silly and sort of ridiculous. And thank you to Badway for getting me back into these, because I don't think I would have watched them without it, and they've been a lot of fun. I'll say that.
I think if you watch 1 and 2, like you'll appreciate 3. So I believe it is required viewing to watch 1 through 3 to get like the full scope of the old school late 80s, early 90s Chucky movies. And yeah, I mean, we pick all our movies at random, really just based on what do we want to watch, what's ridiculous, skewed towards, crazy action movies, or things like the soul of serial killer in a body of a doll chasing his lifelong enemy to military school.
You mean that can't happen?
That's the type of plot that we love to get into.
I think for like a long time ago, we took a hiatus for a bunch of years because there's just a lot of things going on. And when we came back, we made a determination to say, like, yeah, we wanted to be like a bad movie podcast when we started, and then we realized, like, I don't really want to watch some of these movies at all. So we sort of made the commitment to ourselves, like, we're just going to do stuff that we want to watch and that we would have fun with. Otherwise, it starts to feel like a job. And, it's what's more fun than watching a movie that you enjoy or haven't seen or want to see and talking about it with your best friend. And like, I think that's like the soul of our show. Like me and Bowie just hanging out, watching a movie, talking to each other about the movie and the ridiculous things that, like, we were sitting on the couch together, just picking the movie apart, having a good time with it. And I think that's probably encapsulates the way that we operate.
Well, one of my favorite things that you guys did recently is, normally you go through and have this amazingly fun discussion where you dissect the movie, but you actually did some sort of observation, almost like this movie cultural observation episode, And let me bring this up because I thought this was really interesting. You're talking about the state of Hollywood and focusing on the new Roadhouse remake, but taking on this idea of unnecessary remakes. Like, what's going on? Do we need to be able to remake movies? And everyone watching right now, we're going to be getting to this because, there's going to be a new iteration of, say, the Karate Kid movie that we're going to talk about. But can you guys give like a kind of a preview or a taste of your thoughts about remakes and what makes them necessary or unnecessary?
I feel like this one, I have to chime in here because Roadhouse is near and dear to my heart. In fact, like I have it right here on 4K. Like this
Oh,
is
let me bring that up.
this is one of my all-time like favorite movies, and it was one of the first episodes that we did on our show. And the fine folks over at Vinegar Syndrome did a remaster of this thing, and I haven't watched it yet. I just got it, and I'm looking forward to it. But that movie is an absolute classic. And you can call me an old man, and you can say, "Oh, don't step in my space," but I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I like, the idea of a movie like that, but they don't need to call it Roadhouse. And we had these like rules. You have to go back and check out our episode, but we talked a lot about what are the rules for rebooting a movie. Like we had priorities, and it wasn't necessarily like, oh, it has to check all the boxes. But the first one was like a genre, superhero movies, horror, like they're infinitely like remakeable and redoable. But then you have like, is it truly a classic? How much time has passed and how much effort are you actually going to put into this? And I don't think that movie that's coming out, the Roadhouse one, looks like it isn't being tried to they're not trying to do a good job. Like it does look like they're putting effort into it, but just call it something else. Like, why does it have to be called Roadhouse? It could be called The Cooler,
Yeah.
like Badway said.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't
Give it
know.
the generic
I'm very
name.
passionate.
It's got Gyllenhaal. It's got Conor McGregor. People are going to want to see it. You can call it anything you want. Why does it have to be Roadhouse? Why does it have to be Dalton? I'd watch it.
Mhm.
I'm in for most Gyllenhaal movies. He's a great actor. But fun fact about that episode in particular is only for our most diehard of fans. We did that exact same episode about 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. It was a long time ago. And we talked about when Roadhouse was originally talked about being remade with Ronda Rousey. So that actually is a reboot of an episode that we did.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a meta thing that maybe only
Rebooted
3
it.
people in the world besides Drew and I knew actually happened. So
I'll say this though, a way to do it, and this is where like you talk about the next Karate Kid versus like Cobra Kai versus whatever. I'll tie it back to this universe, and you tell me whether you agree with this or not. Like they're remaking Roadhouse, and they're calling it Roadhouse. A way to do it could have been Roadhouse Miami. Call it that, and it
Hmm.
yeah, Dalton still exists in that world or something. Like he doesn't have to be Dalton. He could just be a different guy. Like do something
Right.
else, or continue the character and the legacy, and maybe it's Dalton's son or something. Like I don't know. There's a way to do it where you can connect it to the original universe. Same thing with Ghostbusters, right? The reboot of Ghostbusters, not very good, was it? Afterlife, hey, it's a continuation of the legacy of these characters. That's the way to do it, unless it's a superhero movie or a horror movie, in my
yeah,
opinion.
I'd rather have a decade late sequel than a half-assed reboot. Now I hope
Yes.
Roadhouse is not half-assed. I have good faith that it's going to be at the lowest level watchable, right? I don't think it's going to be horrible in any sense, but I'll take a long overdue sequel over a reboot. Just like our motto is call it something else.
Yeah.
Make the
Right.
same movie, call it something else.
Yeah. Call
Right.
it something
Which
else.
is what Hollywood's been doing forever, right? They've just kind of been doing these sort of
Sure.
regurgitating popular stories, but just calling them different things. NASA Canes fan John with another super chat. Thank you. John says the remake push in Hollywood has gone too far, in my opinion. I mean, we've had a few that were good, but Hollywood has gone overboard with it. And I will take that opportunity to move us to our next part of the discussion. That's right. We have news regarding the Karate Kid reboot, remake, sequel. We don't know what this is, but so we have a new cast member joining this cast, joining this eclectic cast. So we have Joshua Jackson, known as Pacey, and Charlie. So he's notable to us, joining a cast including Ben Wang, Ralph Macchio, Jackie Chan, and Pizza. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts, Badway? I don't know if we've gotten your thoughts on this new Karate Kid movie that they're rushing out this year.
Oh, it's coming out this year already.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Is that a
I don't
good
know.
side or a bad side?
It's a bad sign that we don't know anything about it. We don't know that it's a sequel or if it's a continuation or if it's a reboot. That's bad if we
Well,
don't know yet and it's coming out this year, I feel like they're trying to hide
well,
something.
viewers of KenCast, Drew, we've had secret
Yes.
discussions. We have discussed leaks, so we have an idea of some early ideas for this.
Yeah.
So basically, the story takes place in New York, just to give everyone the top level thing. And things could change, but there's going to be a Chinese American kid who's had to confront a personal tragedy with his mom, and he and his mom are moving into Brooklyn. We're guessing based on the history of the series that the father died. So
Played
they
by Joshua Jackson.
I
well,
don't know.
He's the father.
well,
He's gonna die.
that that's kind of okay. I like that. That's an interesting point. We'll read the article and see if we can figure out who this is. But basically, Ben Wang comes to Brooklyn. He befriends a young girl whose father is in Brooklyn and runs a pizza shop. And
Man.
Ben Wang is already a martial arts expert, and he teaches the father how to do karate. I assume there's some mutual mentoring going on. So we don't know exactly where it goes from there, except since then, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio have been thrust into the story somehow. So, yeah, so that's kind of the top level. Drew, what are your thoughts?
I was just gonna say I have two major thoughts here. Like, okay, this is Hollywood trying to mash together everything. What can we get the Ninja Turtles in here too? If it's like in New York and you got a pizza joint, like, and why does it have to be a pizza place? Like, couldn't they have made it like a bagel shop? Like, that's something we don't always get. Like a bagel shop in New York. New York bagels are great. Why is it got to be a pizza shop? Like, it's
Pizza's
so
sexier than
stereotypical.
pizzas are sexier than bagels. Drew,
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, I guess you're right, because breakfast is like bagels is like breakfast. I mean, I eat bagels throughout the day. Like, you could have a bagel for dinner, but I don't know.
At least it's not a Chinese food restaurant, because that's too
true.
that's too
That
on the
would
nose,
be
right?
bad.
That's too on the nose.
But
right?
I feel like the pizza shop, like, let's get the Ninja Turtles in here too. I mean, what more are they gonna mash in? Like, and then like you guys said in the chat, like Charlie Conway, is he moved to New York after he like beat whatever the place was in Mighty Ducks 3? Like, what's going on with this? It's too much. It's too much going on right now. I hate to be Larry David, but just a little too much.
I'm skeptical at best. I mean, I hope that this thing does well. What we can't do is blame Joshua Jackson, Ken. We cannot.
I agree with that.
We cannot blame Charlie Conway if this movie stinks. And since you described the synopsis, I do believe he's the dad that will die in the first 10 minutes of the movie. If not, then I was going to say he was going to be a deadbeat dad, but if we know that the dad dies, then, or maybe he's the stepdad, Drew.
Ooh, stepdad.
Let me bring up the article and see if there's anything we can learn. So this is the exclusive article in the Hollywood Reporter. Joshua Jackson joins Sony's Karate Kid exclusive. He's doing it for the kicks.
Oh man, who wrote that?
Hollywood Reporter.
Who wrote that?
Joshua Jackson is putting on his doji in his first feature film role in almost 10 years. We're talking about people who haven't been in movies since a long time. The actor has joined the cast of Sony Pictures' latest installment of Karate Kid. And then talks about Ben Wang. He's starring in this coming-of-age martial arts drama with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Plot details are being kept under the mat, but the new installment will bring the story to the East Coast and focus on a team from China, Wang, who finds strength and direction via martial arts and a tough but wise mentor or two. Details on Jackson's role were unavailable. Hang on, sorry guys. But he is described as one of the main characters. Don't know why my computer's doing that. As one of the main characters in the piece. So it looks like he is going to be one of the lead roles.
I like the idea of him being the stepfather, like Badway said. But like, is he? So there's a lot of angles they could take with that. Is he a good stepfather? Is he a bad stepfather? And that's why he needs to go seek out Jackie Chan's character. Like, is he, like you said, bad father barometer territory? I don't know.
I would hope that if there's a tragedy with the real father, that the stepfather wouldn't be a negative source of. I would hope not. I mean, that's a depressing movie then. But we can't see that there's people get these misconceptions or bad reputations for doing good work in hindsight questionable works of art. Like I think of Robert Pattinson who was going on to have a great dramatic career.
Yeah.
But people, tried to shoehorn him. Oh, he's the vampire kid, right?
Right.
He's the what do they call it?
Sparkles.
Twilight. He's the Twilight kid. Who is he? He can't be Batman. Of course he can, right? He did a great job. Even James Vanderbeek from the same series, Dawson's Creek, put in great work. Varsity Blues. I mean, that's all. If all he did was Varsity Blues, that's
I
enough.
don't want
Great movie.
your
That's
life.
all. Yeah. So just because we can't label him as Pacey or child actor Charlie Conway, Joshua Jackson's done some good work, you guys, and
He has.
we can't lay the success or failure of this movie at the feet of this poor, 40-something guy that we all grew up maybe loving or not even remembering, one way or the other. He should be a fun, if not inconsequential member of this movie.
Okay, so guys, if you're watching right now and you have no clue who we're talking about, Joshua Jackson. Okay, he was in a show called Dawson's Creek, which you might have heard of, which was probably one of the big first WB series. This clip of him you might have seen recently. It kind of went viral recently on social media. So I'm going to play a clip of Dawson's Creek, and you can check this out. This epic confrontation between Dawson and Pacey. Pacey is Joshua Jackson.
What a name, Pacey.
You can still beat me. Miracles happen all the time. Come on, pass me the ball, Oompa Loompa. What'd you call me? I said, check it, Oompa Loompa. Hey, ladies, I really love what you did with that last cheer.
I've never seen that. that.
Oh, yes.
That's
So-
is that up there with the Zach Morris and AC Slater fight of like in the hallways of Bayside High? Like that's kind of up there.
See, I would say that he better get up and tackle Vanderbeek. But if you've ever been hit in the face with a basketball, it is maybe the worst ball aside from bowling to get hit in the face by.
What about
yeah.
He's staying down. He's staying down.
Man, that's what? If we ever do another podcast, maybe we should do a Dawson's Creek rewatch podcast. I've never watched it. That would be fun.
Yeah, that I never watched Dawson's Creek. I was at the age where that just seemed like completely antithetical to my existence. I hated the idea of Dawson's Creek. It just seemed like one of those that high school, college age guys, horrible and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to play that again, guys, because let's take a look at that. That was insane.
I really love what you did with that last cheer.
What a cannon! He should be playing football with that arm, right? Maybe he did.
That's Mox, man. That's Mox, baby.
Jonathan Mox in there. That's why. Where's John Boyd at? He's recruiting him. He's like on the bleachers trying to check him out. So can I ask you a question, Ken? Are people upset? Because I'm more upset about the possibility of the movie existing, to be completely honest with you guys. Now, look, I'm going to give it a fair shake, like we said on that episode of the KenCast, and I don't want to tear down people that are trying to do something new. I think there's a lot of probably really talented people working on this movie. But are people upset about like Pacey or Joshua Jackson because he's, quote, like a bad actor? Because I don't think he's bad. I actually think he's a pretty good actor. I don't think, like, there's a lot of people you could get in this movie that I think would be bad. I don't know that he's bad. Like, to me, it's like, okay, cool. It's him, like Charlie Conway.
It's got to be it's got to be the Pattinson thing, right? It's always Dawson. Just like, it's Twilight. Pattinson can't be Batman. Well, why can't I'm sorry, go on, Cole.
Oh, to add to this, I was going to say, I compiled some comments that we got even on this channel. So let's read some comments and see what people are having trouble with here. Okay. So up at the top, I knew this movie would stink and it's looking worse than I could have expected. John, who's here in the chat today, they are getting way out there. Jeremy Austin, wow, didn't see that coming. Awesome. CM Strike himself, Chris Maffei, says, whoa, Daniel LaRusso meets Charlie Conway.
See, he knows what's up.
Yeah,
Chris knows what's up.
He does know what's up. And Average J Retro says, I was excited originally when I heard the movie in the Karate Kid verse, but the more the details came out, I'm terrified and unsettled with what potentially might be happening with this movie. So you're right. Like, Badway, to your point, I think that could be part of it, is just, you've got, people thinking of Pacey from Dawson.
I really love what you did with that last cheer.
And they're like, what's this going to be like? And Do we really want to bring back that era? He hasn't been around in a bit. Does he fit? Like, who is he gonna play? Like, is he gonna be some like sappy love interest? Like, who the heck does Joshua Jackson play in this next new Karate Kid movie? But it sounds like he could play this potential pizza shop owner, the dad of the kid's girlfriend or whatever, who's owning the pizza shop. He could be that maybe mentor love interest, or he could be the villain.
Yeah.
Man, could you imagine him as a villain? Like put him into like a black karate gi, give him a ponytail. Man,
I said go for it. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Heal him up.
I just, what's funny, and it's the first comment that you showed, and I gotta say this, like, I think when you're younger, when you say something stinks, it's kind of like, oh, it's a lamer version of saying it sucks. Can I say like saying that something stinks now is like is awesome? Like it's like a more of a like a deeper insult to me. Like that movie's gonna stink. I love that the person said that because it's just hilarious to me. But is it really gonna stink? Like it's not going to stink because Joshua Jackson's in it, in my opinion. It's going to stink because, of other reasons, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was going to be good and Joshua Jackson's going to tear the movie down. Like, that's not happening.
That's, if anything, he'll make it better, in my opinion, because you have somebody that's actually known for stuff. But, like, there was...
Make it better?
Maybe not better, but it would be like, oh, let's see what this guy's up to these days. Like, he hasn't been around. Like, him from stuff. He's
that
like,
guy. They put that guy in a role.
Yeah, he is that guy Hall of Fame. Maybe
it's never bad to put that guy in a role.
So if you're a famous actor, right, and you retire for 10 years, like, are you instantly thrust into that guy status? Like, are you that guy from that thing? Or is it more like he had a lot of fame? Like he kind of is that guy now. It's like that guy from Mighty Ducks, that guy from Dawson's Creek.
He can't be that guy if you have a famous past, like one singular or famous past role. He has two. So it's not he's not that guy. It's look, there's Pacey, even though he's 30 years older than he was at the time. Or it's look, there's Charlie Conway, who he's like 40 years older than he was at that time. You can't be that guy if he has known roles.
Well, you could say, what's her name? Katie Holmes. She was in Dawson's Creek and she graduated to like some pretty big roles. She was in Batman Begins. She played Rachel Dawes.
She gradually rose up. Roles. She rose above that girl, or what's her name in Dawson?
I don't even remember. Joey? Is that Joey?
Joey.
See, I don't even know the show, but I know the name.
She graduated from Joey because she had so many other Hollywood roles that she can't be that girl because she was a leading person in many movies.
Well, there was a show actually on CW where they did a reboot of what's it called? The Archie comics, Riverdale. And I'm pretty sure Luke Perry from 90210 played like one of the dude's dads, I think. And then I think the other guy was in it. I'm pretty sure Skeet Ulrich was another that guy.
Wow.
That's a that guy
from Scream fame and all kinds of 90s, 2000s.
You just named the most that guy of the 90s, Skeet Ulrich.
One of my favorite dudes of all time.
What's it short for? Is he Skeeter Ulrich? Did his mama name him Skeeter?
That's like the dude from Doug, right? Like Skeeter,
yeah,
wasn't that his name?
It's the blue guy, yeah.
I gotta look this up. I don't remember. I mean, he's like a classic. Skeet Ulrich. He was in The Craft too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. His real name, by the way, I forgot this. His real name is Brian Ray Trout. So his maybe stage name is Skeet Ulrich.
All right, he did a good thing, getting away from Brian
right?
Trout.
Are you going to remember Brian Trout, or are you going to remember Skeet Ulrich?
You got to change his name. His agent probably forced him to change his name.
That's why he did it. Sorry, Ken, I'm taking us off the rails.
We just last rode this segment.
I'm sorry. Ken.
Well, so Joshua Jackson, right? Okay. So kind of that guy, right? Joshua Jackson. And so my question is, it's like, okay, so he's in here now. If he's the father or the stuff or whatever he is, how does he fit in with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan? Like, how does this happen? Like, is he supposed to be a love interest? Is he supposed to be a mentor? Or is he kind of like an adult who runs a pizza shop who's getting beat up and needs to learn karate?
What if he's like the boss of the pizza shop, like the manager or something? Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I like the dad idea that you had, Badway.
I like the scenario where maybe he's like fish out of water. He's getting crossed between these two karate mentors, and is confused by the whole thing. Like, what is going on here? I'm just trying to make pizzas. Like, I'd rather be an ally of one of the kids. I'd rather him just be confused by the whole thing. Like, what are these guys doing?
Are we gonna get? So here's this is a deep question for you guys. So you know how in the original Karate Kid, like he had to wax the floor, he had to wax the car, paint the fence. Is he gonna be like tossing pizzas? Like is that the thing? Like mopping the floor? Like what is that?
Mop the floor.
I actually can exclusively say, everyone who's watching right now, you're very lucky because I have exclusive footage that people from the production have sent me of this new remake with Mr. Han, Jackie Chan, and we're going to see how this character fits in. All right, I'm going to play it now, and you guys can't tell because I'm not supposed to have this footage. Okay, so here we go.
Feeling.
You know what? Movie looks great. It looks great.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm in.
If they put that in, I'm in. I'll be there day one. Give me Friday night, midnight showing. Put me there. I'll be watching that.
Well, the thing is, it's like, okay, so we have Joshua Jackson's character, right? We have Miss Jackie Chan, who's playing Mr. Han. Then we have Ralph Macchio. And it's like, so how does this all come together? Like, I think that's what everyone's wondering about.
Do you think that is Jaden Smith going to be in this? No one's even asking. Are they? Like, I hope he's not. That's why I did not watch the first one. I like Jackie Chan, not a Jaden Smith guy, and that's why I was like, this movie again. It's like, don't remake this, don't remake that. You don't need to call it something else. Kung Fu Kid, something like that, right? They didn't have to call it Karate Kid. Could have been Kung Fu Kid. Same type of thing, martial arts, different style, right? Like they could have done that. I don't know. Not a fan.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's well, the one thing though, guys, is maybe it's an opportunity to bring in like some lore back from the original Karate Kid movie. I'll confess, I have from another source leaked information of the new Karate Kid movie, and they're looking to bring back a particular scene from the original movie with Ralph Macchio. So I'm gonna share that scene with you right now. See what you think, how they incorporate, the original movie.
Hey, Johnny, forget it, man. It's ancient history. Who told you, man? Johnny? Hey, man, I thought they broke up. He did. Yeah, come on. Yeah, watch. The last chair.
It never gets old.
Sorry.
I'm so glad that you did that.
All right, I promise I'm done.
So glad that you did
that. But okay, so everyone's freaking out about this movie, right? Okay, I need you guys. You guys have a perspective on movie history that I think is very unique. Should people be freaked out about this movie or not?
I don't think
should fans be upset about this movie?
No, they shouldn't care. You know what? If you act like it didn't exist, they'd stop making it.
That's true too. That is true.
And that's like in general, these remakes and reboots. If you're that upset about protecting your, it's not your IP, it's not my IP, obviously, but if you want to, cherish your childhood, just don't pay attention to it, don't go and see it. And then 5, 6 years, 7 years down the line, they'll stop making them. And then they'll call it something else. And then you'll be fine.
I think, well, I'll say this. Yes, but also because they're making this, we're not getting something else. And I think that's where maybe people get a little upset because it's money is getting funneled into this. And yeah, I guess, look, it's going to make money. It probably will. Like, I doubt it's going to lose money, to your point. And maybe that's why people have to not go.
You got to stop paying attention. But the other side of that is it doesn't matter if it's a PG or like a light PG-13 movie. Parents are going to take their kids to go see it just to get them out of the damn house because they want these damn kids out of the damn house. And it doesn't matter what the movie is. They're going to take them to go see it, and it's going to make some kind of money anyway. So I guess screwed either way.
I mean, you're right. Like I'm putting myself into like high school Drew and Badway. I mean, and early pre-college Drew and Badway is like, We're sitting there watching Joyride with Paul Walker because
We
it's
didn't-
like, what else are you gonna do?
We did it for that. That was off
That's
of
true.
your
I worked there, so-
benefits of the theater. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we did watch what is it, From Below, but you rented that for free for
Yeah.
us for Blockbuster.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, but there, you're right. Like, there's something. There's always been what people might say is like generic movies or something like that, where it's like, oh, this movie stinks or whatever people might say. But I mean, I guess people are gonna go watch it. But I think I come back to what I said before. It's like it keeps you from getting maybe something more unique. And if it's like something like Cobra Kai, I'm down with that because it takes the legacy and it makes it and takes it further. I don't know if there's huge fans of the Karate Kid from whatever year that was. Like, are there massive fans of that's like, this is a universe I can't wait to see again? Like, I don't know. Maybe there are. And maybe there's people from a different generation that are really excited to see Mr. Han again. I don't know. Maybe I can't speak for them because I'm not part of that group.
Yeah, it's a good point. It did well. Like the movie did well, but it's almost like it never had any staying power. Like in terms of, I don't think anyone's thinking about that movie. You know, it's really odd. Guys, I would love to have you back to. I know we've said this a couple
We
times.
should
I would
watch
love
it.
to have you back to do the full Lastro analysis of the Karate Kid remake. See what you guys think.
I would watch it for that, and maybe I'll like it. Maybe I would.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
I'll
won't.
go in with an open mind.
No, you won't.
Bad Boy's
He knows
like,
me too well, people.
That's so funny. Do you think you'd
I-
like it, Bad Way?
No.
No chance.
But I wouldn't be unfair. If I actually did
Right.
watch it and I liked it, I would admit it. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yes.
But I know me and I know Drew.
I'm trying to
it's a
think of
no-
a
it's a
movie
no
that you were like, I'm not gonna like this going in, and that you actually liked it. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of our catalog of films. Like, I'm pretty sure you went into Johnny Mnemonic thinking I'm not gonna like this movie, and you hated it.
I was nervous. I was just it was too complicated, and it kind of was. But that's not my fault. That was the writer's fault.
Now that you've played Cyberpunk 2077, you go
Uh,
back and watch that movie. Maybe you like it
Makes
differently.
a little more sense. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
a little more sense.
Now you get it.
Darkest Hour, spread the sauce. It's very similar to Wax On, Wax Off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I want to echo what Drew and Bagway say. Like I've said, like it doesn't seem to make sense on the outside, but you know, the trailer could come along and it could be pretty cool. And Joshua Jackson does look way different now than he did back then. Like he's been acting for a long time. Let's give it a shot. I think that's fair, right? A lot of people are probably working really hard to make this the best movie they can. So let's just see. Let's see what happens, right? Is that fair?
Can I say one thing? I'm more interested now that Joshua Jackson is in it than I was before. I'll tell you. Like I sincerely mean that because I haven't seen him in 10 years. I actually like him in the movies that I've seen him in. That's actually a get for me. I'm like, okay, I like Jackie Chan, but you know, Jackie Chan alone, I don't know. Like put Joshua Jackson in. Okay, I'm interested. I mean, I'm not saying I'm excited, but I'm like, okay, what are they going to do with him? That would be cool. And that makes it more intriguing for me than without him. So they got me for that.
All due respect, he's a bigger name still than Ralph Macchio. There, I said it.
He's
a
been in
bigger
more
name.
things, I would
He's in more,
say.
you know, Ralph Macchio had an amazing comeback with the Cobra Kai series, but let's face it, he's Danny LaRusso, and that's all he is, right? As far as like what do we remember him for, right?
Well, but he was in Outsiders. I mean, he was in My Cousin
I know
Vinny.
he was in
like,
things.
He was huge,
in things,
but it was earlier.
My Cousin Vinny, of course, right? But we remember him as Danny. Like he's not that guy. He's Danny LaRusso. I feel like we've seen it. It's not. We're not going to get excited that Ralph Macchio's in this movie as much as Josh Jackson. That's another name that I hadn't heard in a while. It's more of an intriguing name, like a Ralph Macchio in a Karate Kid movie. To me, that sounds more like expected than a surprise, and like, oh, I got to see this now, you know,
because you expect it, and you know, okay, he's gonna be Daniel LaRusso, whereas like Joshua Jackson, it's like, who is he gonna be? Like, what is the character?
If
I
they
get
pull some stuff and he actually isn't Danny LaRusso, and it's just a wink and a nod that it's Ralph Macchio, new Karate Kid movie, I'm standing up.
Ooh.
I'm walking out the door.
Like a Ghostbusters 2016 type cameo, basically.
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm out.
Yeah. I don't think those went over. I don't like that. That I think is a mistake. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we were saying, like, I think somebody even said it in the chat. Like, if Wade Garrett shows up in Roadhouse, but he's not Wade Garrett, Sam Elliott, like, come on. like have him be Wade Garrett or whatever, or whoever, right? Like Brad Wesley if he's in there or something, right? Like when was it Dan Aykroyd shows up as like a taxi driver? It's like, what are we doing, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And that's partly why, and I will die on this hill. I don't think that was a good movie, and not because of why other people said it wasn't. It just wasn't a good movie, in my opinion. It just wasn't good. And that's it. Like, that's a perfect example there. You get random, very famous actors doing cameos of not their characters. Afterlife is a much better way to do that as a sequel than a reboot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about doing an analysis of the Ghostbusters reboot? Like the much derided one that you're talking about, like, and trying to sift through.
Hot topic.
I'm afraid of it.
Too hot to handle.
I'm afraid of it.
Well,
I'm very afraid of that.
Even though that might be a hot topic, we do have a new Ghostbusters movie coming out, and it has just released. They've just released the final trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And so, if you guys aren't aware, Last Row Podcast and we did this amazing joint analysis of Ghostbusters 2, which we all really like. And definitely check that out. Listen to that. One of my most favorite discussions of all time. And I think I'll be posting it to the KenCast audio podcast in the run up to this. But would you guys like to watch the new trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
I haven't seen it yet, so definitely.
Okay.
And I swear to God, Ken, if it's with Pacey getting hit in the face with a basketball again, I swear to God, Ken.
Oh, I wouldn't do that to you, right? Okay, here we go. Okay.
All right.
There we go. The final trailer. So the thing that jumped out to me, I want to get your guys' thoughts on that, was this new idea of every ghost they've caught is going to be unleashed.
They put that in there on purpose. They did that, right? It's
right.
Like, but did they catch Vigo? Did they actually catch him?
See, that's the thing. I don't think they caught him.
They didn't contain him.
He wasn't in there. Like, the painting changed. Maybe that painting, he's still in there. It didn't convert to good. I don't know, but I mean, they didn't catch Gozer, right? Like, she got evaporated or whatever. I don't even know what happened there, whatever.
I'm not going to get hung up in technicalities. If I see Gozer and Vigo, I'm excited about it. I don't care about the technicalities. So,
do they get so? Is the cartoon canon? Does that mean that the cartoon ghosts are in there?
Does
like
the boogeyman showing up, Drew?
Yeah, right. Like the boogeyman, Sam Hain, like all the and we said this before, Ken, when we talked about this. That more than any of the trailers really reminds me of the TV show and the cartoon. And I don't want to get my hopes up, guys, but it looks awesome. Right. I don't want to get my
ass movie, right?
It does. It looks very, very much like it's going to have some very horror type elements.
Right.
I love that the actual original 3 Ghostbusters are playing themselves, which is awesome. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I'm trying not to, guys, but it's hard not to. It looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, Camille Nanjiani and Patton Oswalt, great looking cast, supporting cast. I like that Jaws just commented, Peter McNichol. If there's a Yano sighting, you guys,
he better be. That would be so good.
Can Pete dust off that accent? Can he still do it? We'll see.
It would be great to see him. And I don't know why, maybe not in as strong a sense, but I feel this discussion about Vigo and, Peter McNichol coming back and everything. Really, it feels like wanting, say, Terry Silver to come back again.
Yeah.
It's like, it would be amazing to see Vigo again. And I agree with you. Like, it reminds me of the animated show. Like, it's going to be fun no matter what. But man, if Vigo's in there, and fingers crossed, I don't know if this is the case, but wouldn't it be amazing if Vigo's controlling that main villain with the horns? Like, because Vigo wants to take over the world. Like, he still wants to take over the world. Yeah.
I mean, you said it. Like, he was in the painting, but he wasn't. He got eradicated from it. I don't even know really what happened to him, but
so we can't let it lead our expectations though. So
right. Right.
Because we don't want to be disappointed because we don't see Vigo or we don't see Gozer, right?
That's a good
I
point.
think the movie's enough to stand on its own two legs and
Yes.
for us to be pleasantly surprised by any kind of Easter egg we get from previous films. So, because some might say it would be lazy to just bring the hits back too. So if it's done in the right way, and if the movie can stand on its own two without relying too heavily on nostalgia, then that's what we got to hope for the best.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
would agree with
really
that.
good point. Yeah, because that's a trap, isn't it? Like a lot of where, like, you're doing a new version of something. It's like a legacy sequel, and there has to be this fan service, and maybe that holds back like a new story that could be explored. And yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, it has to be done in a way that adds to the story versus just Vigo cameo. Like unless it's, I mean, if it's very brief, it would be done like he's walking there or the painting plays a role in it or something. That would be cool. But to just flash him and maybe it would be a little cheap. So hopefully he plays a role. But you're right. Like I don't want to be disappointed if he doesn't show up because that would be. But it looks good, man, doesn't it? Doesn't
It
that look
does.
good?
It's coming. Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah,
On the
I
way.
mean,
Yeah.
there's some good movies. I'd like to see Dune 2 right now. I haven't seen that yet. This one is the next movie that I really want to see. Did you guys see all the promotional stuff about it too? There's like light up traps that are like popcorn containers and Slimer, like actual Slimer figure that's like a popcorn container. There's proton pack type stuff. I mean, you want to get my checkbook out? Like, yeah, take my money. That's exactly how you're going to get me. Sorry, like AMC, I don't want to tell you the key to it, but you make that stuff, I'm probably going to overpay for it.
I like that Drew still pays my check. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Do you take Venmo? Do you guys take Venmo?
I want to bring up Jorge, though, has a legit thing that we could see.
Yes.
Do the Scoleri brothers make an appearance?
That's easy to do. Yeah, that would be an easy way to pop the crowd for sure.
Yeah. Fun fact: Badway and I have a fantasy football team in a dynasty league that we share, and our name is the Scoleri brothers.
We are the Scoleri brothers. Yep.
That's our team name.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Jane Mott says, I think that Ghostbusters Afterlife was really brilliant fan service. Hopefully, Frozen Empire will continue that legacy.
Yeah.
And it should, right? Because I think Jason Reitman co-wrote and I think he's producing this. And his father started the first one. You have so many people from the original in it, so you would think that they'd be concerned with doing a good job.
I think when you look at the first movie, it was sort of like it was a comedy. It was sort of an ensemble comedy set in like a supernatural sort of element situation in New York City. The second one was more, I would say, comedic than the first one, like more of a straight comedy, because they try to make jokes and stuff. Maybe not straight comedy, but the third one, or whatever Afterlife was, it was more like a drama, in my opinion. Like there was funny moments in it, but it was more of a drama. And the way that they did, the connection to the original, I thought it was done in a really heartfelt way. Like I didn't think it was cheap or overused. This one looks more like a horror movie based on how they're positioning. We know from trailers they could make it look like anything, and it could be very different than that. I think Suicide Squad, 2016, shows you that, but it could be positioned very differently than it is. But I kind of like the angle that they're taking, where it's less of a straight up comedy and more of like an episode of the TV show. It's very intriguing to me.
Yes. Jaws says Vigo the Carpathian without the Ghostbusters story also would be amazing. I think it would be better than Napoleon. What about like the real backstory of Vigo?
A standalone Vigo story?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, we have Vigo prequel in Carpathia. We didn't do you see him shot, stabbed, hung, drawn and quartered? Like, do you see all of the deaths?
Yeah,
that's we get his head dying.
That's the entire 25-minute final act is him dying 17 times
just before his head died. We need that in our life.
Well, guys, I am so excited to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And I want to thank you, Drew and Badway, for coming on today. I'm always overjoyed when I get to talk with you about movies, and it's so much fun. Everyone needs to check out the Last Row podcast. If you don't follow, go follow them. Give them a 5-star review because they deserve it, and you'll love it. Do you guys have any final thoughts? I know we've talked about a lot of different things, but there's this theme of like remakes and sequels and legacy sequels. Do you have any kind of overall thoughts for us as we go watch movies in the coming weeks?
Do it again. I'll add something. So I think if you're gonna do something, look at Cobra Kai as an example of what you can do and how you can take something that was cherished, beloved, and add some new wrinkles to it and do it in a way that's, I think, done not as like a straight up cash grab. Look at Ghostbusters Afterlife as another way that you could take something and maybe add some new wrinkles to an original story. I hope that's what they're gonna do with this new Karate Kid movie. I doubt that's what they're gonna do with the new Roadhouse movie. Having said that, I'll watch it anyway because why not? I like Jake Gyllenhaal, but try to do something that honors what the original source material was, shows that you're truly a fan of it, and you're giving people something that they can appreciate X amount of years later. Versus, hey, let's just write a blank check so we can make some more money. That's what I'm all about. If you're gonna use something that was done before, add something new to it. Give us something that the fans can enjoy. That's my philosophy for remaking things or redoing something that's been done before.
Yes. Badway, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I guess I would say that I feel less strongly about reboots in general, just because I'm fine with separating myself from the source material. I don't know the property, so I mean, if Ghostbusters comes out with 30 reboots and 29 of them aren't good, I still have Ghostbusters 1 and 2 that I can fall back on. I don't have to watch the new ones. I don't have to have an opinion on them if after a while they saturate the product until it's nothing. I'm not saying about Ghostbusters, just anything in general. So, well, a lot of people get worked up about this and that, but at the end of the day, you have your cherished movies of your childhood and of your upbringing. You can always rewatch those movies for another 100 times. And if you show less and less care towards these reboots that are kind of lazy and a cash grab, they'll stop making them if we stop giving them attention and stop paying money to go see them. So rather than going to see the movie and say, "Oh man, that really stunk like I thought it would," just flat out just don't see it. And maybe they'll put more care into those types of movies.
Right. Great points. Great points. We're going to let Matt Moore have a final thought. Dinah talks to Rise of Terry Silver 2025. That would be great. And of course, Jorge, yes, save silver now. Hashtag. We'll make it happen. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to see you. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this today and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell, and go down into the description, follow the Last Road podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. They also have a YouTube channel. Go over there, hit subscribe, like, and notification bell, because they have stuff coming regularly. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for joining us today, and I look forward to having you back sometime soon and in the future to look at the 2010 remake of The Karate Kid.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
All right, everyone. We will see you next time on KenCast. Thanks.
Want to be part of the live KenCast show? Subscribe to the Ken Cole YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to get alerts about every new show. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on KenCast.